following program contains explicit calls to political action. If you are addicted to the tax-exempt status, Randall might not be right for you. Check with your little sister.
Standing for truth in the four corners of America. Fighting for justice on the frontiers of the culture wars. And turning resistance into an art form. The only TV host arrested more times than Mahatma Gandhi, Randall Terry.
Hey, I might be a loose cannon, but at least I'm a cannon. Come on, we're on the road. How many times do I have to tell you? Let's go. Hey, we're here at the Parthenon. Thank you for joining me. Not the Parthenon in Greece, the one in Nashville, Tennessee. In a minute, we'll show you the big edifice. It's kind of cool. We are going to talk today about treachery, of course. Lindsey Graham, as you know, has betrayed God, the babies, the pro-life movement, the Republican Party, the voters of South Carolina. We are going to teach you how to use the street to your benefit. We're going to talk about Pakistan and how the average Pakistani, especially those that are leaning towards terrorism, how they're going to react to the multi-billion-dollar payoff bribe that we're giving them. And maybe we'll do some funny stuff, and we'll talk about going to see Lindsey Graham. Alexander and Senators Alexander and Corker, maybe they need to just pay a little visit. You know, one senator to another, jack him up in the hall. What is wrong with you? Let's go to somebody who's got more wisdom than I do, and then we'll jump into today's show. Come on, put the camera on me. Bring that thing over here. I got something to say. All right, now listen. Here I am no, not on Elvis, on me. Here I am down in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm looking for any sign that President Obama was here. Maybe even Hillary Clinton? No. He sends Hillary over to Pakistan, offer them hundreds of millions of dollars so they can be rebuilt and stuff. Does the president come here and help Nashville after it had some horrifying flood? Now, why is that? Is it maybe because the people here in Tennessee did not vote for the president? Is this all about politics? I don't know, but this I know. Me and the king, we is fixing to sing. Help me, Elvis. Early settlers, when they came from Great Britain and from Scotland, were shocked to find that American Indians had stolen the Parthenon and rebuilt it here in Nashville. Archaeologists are still unsure how they actually did this, but the theory is that they reconstructed the Pinta and the Santa Maria and brought it here on Columbus's own ship. I made that up, by the way. The Indians actually used the Titanic to bring it here. But that's a whole nother story. We don't have time for it today. All right, before we talk about Lindsey Graham and different ways that we can bring political demise to him, I want to talk to you about the bailout of Pakistan. Maybe you caught it a couple days ago, where the Obama administration, to show its goodwill to the Pakistani people, is causing you and I to be the slave labor force now for the Pakistanis, giving them hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, hoping, against hope, that it will reduce terrorism. Some of you may know that I am in a master's program right now studying, believe it or not, international relations and terrorism. And the studies that have been done are conclusive that there is no connection between money being given to a nation that's involved in terrorism and it reducing terror. All right? So the very notion flies in the face of the evidence that is on the table right now. That's number one. Number two, the more I thought about it, I thought, you know, if I was angry at the United States of America, if I despised Western values with all the debauchery that we have going on, and the fact that we're the infidels fighting against Islam, if I hated all that, and then you came up to me with money and said, hey, will you be my friend? Will you not try and harm me? I'll give you money to build infrastructure for electricity. I might take the money with kind of a sordid, evil grin. Yeah, and say, oh sure, I'll be your friend. Look at what it's gotten us with the Mujahideen. Think about it. We funded the Mujahideen against Russia, and some of those very people ended up being the ones that we're fighting now. Our money didn't buy friendship. It didn't buy loyalty. I mean, think about it. Could you be bought? Could your friendship be bought? Well, it depends how much money we're talking, I guess. But, I mean, conceptually, we would all scoff at that. So why do we think that the Pakistanis are any different? This is not only a waste of money, but it's offensive. At its core, it's offensive. So, this Obama administration, God help us, we're in the clutches of evil. All right, let's turn the page. As you know, we're on or maybe you don't know, we're on a 13 city tour over 11 days. Today, we are in Nashville and then in Decatur, Alabama, going on to Montgomery and to Birmingham and then shooting across to Lindsey Graham's home state. I wish that I was in South Carolina today. I really do. Because I'm so enraged and so disgusted by Lindsey Graham, and I'm so disgusted by pro-life, right-to-life groups that help put Lindsey Graham in office and that are not denouncing his treachery. Second Amendment groups that help put Lindsey Graham in office that are not standing strong against him and saying we have to do everything in our power to get this creep, this monster, this traitor out of office in the next election cycle. I'm talking, of course, about Lindsey Graham, the senator from South Carolina who voted to get Kagan to the full Senate. He voted with the Democrats to say, yes, Kagan should be on the Supreme Court of the United States. It's disgusting. But this is where we've come. Now, later on in the show, I'm going to talk to you about how to get thousands of people reached on your street corner, so you're going to want to see that. But I want to do a quick history lesson while we've got a minute together, and I'll talk about this more later on as well. But one of the problems that we're facing right now is that we have lost the central theme, the idea of what holds us together as a nation. The idea is of the Declaration of Independence, that our rights come from God, that God is our creator, that God is the judge. All of these ideas are explicitly spelled out in the Declaration. That central theme has been dispersed. And along with that has the martial spirit, the militant spirit of defending life and liberty and property has also been lost. Thomas Jefferson said, liberty, the liberty tree should be watered with the blood of tyrants. Remember that? Thomas Jefferson, our founders, when the Stamp Act came, the Sons of Liberty, or the Committees of Correspondence later, these people actually threatened the personal safety of political figures, and they destroyed private property. All right? The Boston Tea Party was the destruction in today's value of over $1 million worth of tea. When they got rid of the stamps during the Stamp Act and they made life miserable, and I'll give you more details later about what they did to some of these stamp collectors, it was the stuff that movies are made of. It was the stuff that actually scared people. And we're in a place right now where our politicians don't fear us. They don't fear us. They don't even fear us politically, is what I mean. Lindsey Graham got into office as a pro-lifer, and he doesn't fear you, National Right to Life. He is not afraid of you, National Right to Life, because he knows that you're wussies and that you're going to back him the next time around because, well, he's all we've got and he's better than nothing and he's pro-life. He's not pro-life. He's not pro-life. When you vote for Kagan to be on the Supreme Court, knowing that she's going to murder babies, you're not pro-life. Well, he's for the Second Amendment. He's not for the Second Amendment. When you vote for Kagan, when you could hear her say with your own ears, she does not think that our right to keep and bear arms is a fundamental right, then you know he's not for the Second Amendment. Okay? when she's fighting tooth and nail for militant homosexuals and against our military, and then you say, I'm for traditional marriage. No, you're not, Lindsey. You're a liar. You're a hypocrite. You're a louse. You're a foul political dog. Now, there's a lot of other words that I'd like to say that probably lighten the air a little bit. But my wife is hovering in the background, and I'm afraid to say them because she might be angry with me. So I think what I should do is stop this tirade for a minute and take a breath.
No, Randall wasn't at the Battle of the Alamo, and you wouldn't have been either if you were that sick.
Moments with Moses. And for those of you that are left, I will send faintness into their hearts in the lands of their enemies. The sound of a driven leaf shall put them to flight, and they shall flee as one flees from the sword, and they shall fall when none pursues.
So you can see that we've got a lot of traffic here. Literally thousands of cars go by this corner in literally 1 hour. We didn't get any press here. It's a bummer. I wish we had. You can't hit the ball every time you step up to the plate. One of the things that I've noticed over the years, because I've done a lot of press conferences and had literally national and international press, and then I've had press conferences where I thought, man, this is going to get great coverage. Nothing. Skunked. And part of the issue is ego. We have to be willing to be ignored. We have to be willing to go through a lot of effort and then have it not be covered. We have to be willing to go through a lot of effort and then have bad coverage. But this is a part of us picking up our cross and dying to ourselves, dying to our reputation, saying, I'll be a fool for Christ, saying, I'll be a fool for justice and for truth. I'll do the right thing, I'll say the right thing, even if I look a little silly. So there are many ways that we can fight for justice, many ways that we need to fight against Kagan. But in a situation like this, where you have 50 million dead human beings, and you have this damnable tyrant, and I say that with surgical theological precision, who looks like she's going to be on the Supreme Court. Thank you, Lindsey Graham. We need to scream our lungs out. There has to be a reaction that is equal to the sin, to the crime, to the injustice. And so, to my colleagues in Washington, D.C., to my pro-life friends around the country, leaders, people in various cities who think they're all that, get out in the street. Find a picture of Kagan online and put it on a piñata and beat it. Or maybe Lindsey Graham. Oh, that's extreme. Hey, look at American history. Look at the Boston Tea Party. Look at the Stamp Act. They literally, when the Stamp Act was passed and then they brought the stamps, one of the stamp collectors at the Liberty Tree in the Boston area, they hung him in effigy. They made an effigy of that tax collector, and at the Liberty Tree, they hung him. He got up the next morning, saw a look-alike of his body hanging from a tree. Guess what he did? He resigned. He said, you know, on second thought, there's another job application I would like to make. I don't want this job. Another one, they tarred and feathered. Now, just for the record, I am not suggesting that we tar and feather Lindsey Graham. Although the concept does intrigue me. But I'm saying it would be in complete pace with American history and with our forefathers and with our heroes to burn them in effigy, hang them in effigy, piñata them in effigy, whatever, to make a statement. Oh, that's too extreme. Really? Really? There's 50 million dead babies. Blood is crying out from the ground from garbage dumps. That's extreme. We need a response that's equal to the injustice. And with Kagan the pagan marching towards the Supreme Court, and pro-life senators like Lindsey Graham and Jeff Sessions and Mitch McConnell saying, well, we're pro-life, but we don't know, elections matter. We don't know if we have the votes. Yeah, Lindsey Graham, your election mattered. Your election mattered. You have the duty to use your office to defend the innocent, and you have betrayed God and the babies by your vote. We must howl. And even if that howling, it takes a really low-level form, like standing on a street corner, holding a sign that people see when they go by, or wearing a chicken suit, all right? So you can do this. And the more you do it, the tougher you'll get. Inside, your interior will get tougher. And you'll be used to ridicule and scorn. And after a while, you'll eat it for breakfast. I'm gonna take a break, I'll be right back. Because we are the ones that are going to sing your song.
An appeaser is one who feeds the crocodile, hoping it will eat him last. Sir Winston Churchill.
Well, we're here in Huntsville, Alabama now. The local newspaper, the Huntsville Times, just came and interviewed me about why we're here and dealing with Jeff Sessions. So I'm gonna let you see portions of the interview that I just gave to the newspaper. But remember, I'm doing this so that you can see that it's really not that hard. And you can do it. This is about educating you, not just with facts in your head, but backbone, baby, for you to get out there and take a stand publicly and be interviewed, have your voice be heard in the press. Watch this. This is a hill to die on. Keeping Kagan off the court is a hill to die on. An enemy outside of your camp makes you vigilant, but an enemy inside of your camp makes you dead. Because he can poison your food in the day, cut your throat in the night, or he can give a key to the enemy to open the door and let him come in. And that's why I'm going after the Republicans, because it's their treachery that is the greater danger to us. Well, let's say this. Was Benedict Arnold an enemy? Okay. In other words, you can wear our uniform, but if you open up the door and let the enemy in, then you are a collaborator with the enemy. So he needs to use capital and say, all right, look, if abortion really is murder, all right, that's what the pro-life movement believes. This is killing an innocent human being. If abortion is murder, then fight in the Senate like it's murder. Fight like you're trying to stop somebody from coming onto the Supreme Court who will promote mass murder. Be consistent. The Second Amendment is what guarantees the preservation of the First Amendment. So I am a diehard supporter of our God-given right to keep and bear arms. And it's not just for duck hunting, and it's not just for self-defense. It's so that, God forbid, if necessary, we can defend ourselves from our own government. So there you have it. Some of it was good, some of it could have been better, I don't know, but you could do it. All right, I'm gonna take a quick break. When we come back, some words from Thomas Jefferson. I really do ask you to pray for us, but listen, go to the phone right now. Call 202-224-3121. 202-224-3121. Call Jeff Sessions. Call Lindsey Graham. And raise your voice at Lindsey Graham, just a little bit. Yeah, it requires it. Is the senator insane to vote for this woman? Kagan the pagan? I'll take a break, I'll be right back.
They slay the widow and the sojourner, and murder the fatherless. And they say, the Lord does not see, the God of Jacob does not perceive. Understand, O dullest of the people, fools, when will you be wise? He who planted the ear, does he not hear? He who formed the eye, does he not see? He who chastens the nations, does he not chastise?
Thomas Jefferson said, our enemies have found we can reason like men. So now let us show them we can fight like men also. If you have the ability to reason and to look at a human being in a mother's womb and say, that's a human who should be protected by law, or you can look at marriage and say that it's between a man and a woman, or look at your right to self-defense, and you can reason through these things and be articulate about them, awesome. Now is when we have to fight like men, just like Thomas Jefferson said. And by the way, politics is war by another means. This is how we can fight without having to use muskets. So please, fight.